everyone, welcome to this workshop about sports nutrition. My name is Camille Kostermans. I work for Kyle Sport, and we will be talking about tips and tricks for a healthy lifestyle. So, small introduction of myself. I work as sports dietist Camille. I work since 2021 for Sports Practice Track, and also since the beginning of 2024 I work for Unief, the gym of Unief Sports. So today we will be talking about what should I eat, how should my meals look like, and what to cook. So sometimes I will show a question mark. Um, when there is a question mark, you can click on pause, and then you can think about the question. And when you're ready, then you can click to resume. So, first question, why a healthy nutrition can be important? Are there any benefits? So think a little moment for yourself, and when you're ready to resume, you can click on start again. I will move on. So, different reasons. First of all, there is a low risk on health issues with a healthy nutrition. Also, you give the right amounts of different nutrients to your body. It's also easier to maintain and reach a healthier body weight with a healthy nutrition. You can also have a better feeling, an energetic feeling, and less energy dips. And last but not least, you can also improve your sports performances. So first, I want you guys to think what you ate yesterday. Sometimes we find it hard to remember, but take some minutes to write down everything, main meals, snacks, drinks, and then we can use that information at the end of the PowerPoint. So, healthy nutrition or sports nutrition, I want to show the difference between. The base is healthy nutrition. It should be the start of your diet, the balanced diet. And then on top of that, you can add sports nutrition. This is actually the nutrition that's extra needed for all the sports you perform, you exercise. But I want to highlight the difference because it all starts with the balanced diet, and that should be the first thing to focus on. And the sports nutrition is extra. About sports supplements, we won't be talking because it's a very small percentage of your total nutrition, and many people don't actually need it. So, nutrition is energy for the body. We use energy all the time. Our body uses it. For example, I wrote the different parts of it. The first of it is the resting metabolic rates. It are the processes which requires energy for keeping the body working, all the different processes. So it's a big amount of energy. And then apart from that, you also have the thermic effect of foods. It's actually the energy needed for digestion, and the last one is energy for sports. So those all contain the energy expenditure, and on the other side you have the energy coming in. That's the nutrition. You can express it in calories, and most important are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So in this example, energy in is the same as energy out, and that's actually a nice energy balance. Um, and actually, you adapt your energy intake to your energy output. So if you do a lot of sports, your energy output will be probably very high, and then it's important to also increase the energy intake. By doing that, yeah, the body has enough energy. But if you don't do it, then there might be some side effects. For example, if the body has much less energy available, then you might get often ill, or your sport performances will decrease in results. On the other hand, if you have the too high energy intake, you might have a body weight that's increasing. So a good balance is more or less same energy in as energy out. And how do you manage it? Well, first of all, I would say start with the healthy nutrition as a basis. It starts with that, and then you have also um, very needed nutrients to the body, and most of this healthy nutrition is also not very high in calories. So it's a good basis, and then you can adapt your nutrition to the amount of sports you do, to your body signals, and to your goals. And yeah, amount of sports we already mentioned. Body signals, it's hunger and satiation. Actually, our body gives the right signals, but sometimes we don't listen to it, and then we might, after a while, don't recognize those signals very well. But if you're, for example, all the time hungry, then it probably means that your nutrition isn't adapted to your energy output. And then the last one, goals. Yeah, and if you want to increase or decrease your body weight, of course, you also have to adapt your energy intake to that. And the last one, implement sports nutrition if needed. We all already discussed that. And then there are many diets. Yeah, most of you already heard about some of them probably. However, I want to emphasize that healthy nutrition shouldn't be overcomplicated. And I show here two pictures, and I think most of you know the left one is the more healthy one between those two. Um, so I just want to mention, it shouldn't be overcomplicated. I think everybody can know that we should implement the fruits, the vegetables, the water, and that's a good start. On the other hand, nutrition can be very individual though. And that's because there are different examples, but it might be needed to adapt our nutrition to those individual factors. And for example, there are people with a very low body weight, people with a very high body weight. Also, some opposites are people who gain easy weight or have very hard time for gaining weight. Some people are rarely hungry during the day, and others are all the time hungry. Some find it very important to have structure, and others really have very low structure and no need for it. And it's a bit the same, but some people um, are having a very hard time and they don't have the the nutrition in the same time periods every day, while others shift their meals during the day, and some meals might even be skipped and they don't have any trouble with it. So just want to show you here how different people can be, and nutrition should be adapted a bit to that as well. So some small basic info. We have three important macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And from practice, I notice many people benefit if the main meals contain those three different macronutrients. Certainly dinner. And to give a little bit more info on that, I noticed if some people start skipping one of those three, they might get, for example, more hungry and snack more often and have very big meals. So it's most of the time it's very beneficial to have those three mixed together. So carbohydrates is the first one. It's a very important fuel for the body. And if you have too less of it, you might get hungry fast again. If you, on the other hand, have too much of it, then it's probably stored as extra energy. And I want to mention here as well, if you implement those carbohydrates, try to implement them with fiber-rich products. For example, the whole grain bread or the fruits, the vegetables. Try to implement fibers. We will come back. I will maybe not now already tell it, but the fibers are actually some compounds very important for the gut, um, and they also slow down the digestion, which is often also beneficial. So try to implement enough fibers. For people, it's hard to have enough of them, so choose carbohydrate sources with fibers. And then proteins, most of you know, but those are building blocks for muscles. So also for sporters, it might be necessary to implement some proteins around sports. And also want to mention, if you take very much of them, then you don't have any extra advantage. It's not the more, the better. That's not true in this case. And also the amount of calories, carbohydrates and proteins are the same. Of each gram of those, you have 4 calories. With fats, it's much higher. Then you are at around 9 calories. So fats are very high energy dense, and they are also very important for the general health of our body. And we need them to be able to digest some fats, some vitamins and other functions. So you need some of them for general health. And then I showed here some sources, mainly some healthy sources. So also with fats, try to implement those. Um, you can find here fish, nuts, oil, and etc. And then yeah, we already mentioned, but yeah, most of people benefits when their meal contains all micronutrients. It's also about giving the right nutrients to the body. And then I want to go further with the case study. With this case study, we will see some extra info on nutrition, um, but we can make it a little bit more practical. So there was a student, Arno. He was 6 months at college and his weight increased with more or less 6 kilograms. He also didn't do any sports and he felt often tired and hungry. Also, he didn't know what to cook, and the weight increase was unintentionally. So he came by for some nutritional advice, and he wanted to feel fitter again and also stop the weight gain. So then we checked what Arno nutrition was like, and it's like you can read it here. So in the morning he wasn't hungry, he never took breakfast. Then at 10 a.m. he had his first snack. Most often it was a chocolate bar, a Kinder Bueno in this example. And then at lunch it were 5 slices of white bread, some of them with Nutella and some of them with salami. And then there was some time in between before dinner. And then he was very hungry always, and also took a very large portion. And because he didn't know really what to cook, it was most of the time something from the store or something, yeah, like lasagna or pizza or French fries or something. And then he got hungry again most of the time, so he took first the dessert, and then afterwards, um, he most of the time ate something like 3 sandwiches with Nutella again. About drinks, yeah, it was 50-50, like 50% of the time cola and the other 50% was water. So now I want to let you guys think about what you would recommend Arno to change about his nutrition. So take some minutes, think about it, and then I move on. So first important thing, yeah, about the 3 main meals a day. again, from practice, I see that it's for most people beneficial. If they skip, for example, the breakfast, many people start increasing their lunch and also increasing snacks. So breakfast still is very important, and I also believe it's a better distribution of food intake, portion control. So Arno think he isn't having a breakfast, but if you check again to his nutrition, actually in late night there is actually a third main meal. I believe something similar to breakfast, and I think we can agree that it's not the best timing to have the third meal over there. So I recommended to switch it to breakfast. Um, it's a better, more logical energy distribution. So then we have the three main meals. Already a good start, but is there something else you would suggest to change? Secondly, for many people, it helps to have satiating foods. And again, then I mean with the fibers, for example, they give a slower digestion and less energy dips, and also people are less likely to be fast hungry again. And in practice, it means replacing foods with little dietary fibers with foods with more fibers. For example, there's a big difference between white bread and dark bread, and many people also notice this. When they use white bread, they can eat more, and they often also get hungry faster again. So, we recommend Arno to change it. And for the snacks, it's the same. You see here a snack with a lot of sugars and fats, no fibers. So also there it's easy to adjust it to a snack with more fibers. And then for the breakfast as well, Arno wanted to try some granola, but it could also have been bread again or some oats. Those are some typical morning options as well. So then we should switch it up to this. Again, a nice improvement, but I wasn't satisfied yet. So I still saw something um, to improve. And mainly it's the next thing. There's a lot of time between lunch and dinner. And he also noticed he was very hungry and always ate a very big portion. So I suggested, I'm first gonna ask you guys, think first about it. Any idea what might help? So I suggested to introduce a healthy afternoon snack. So for example, fruits again or some crackers. Um, because yeah, I don't know, his weight started increasing and the dinner is most often the most high the highest energetic meal. So if you eat a lot of it, then you end up faster also with too much calories. So by introducing a snack, we tried to have a better portion control for dinner. And then Arno also mentioned he had some fresh soup at his place. So that's also a very nice thing. It's a lot of vegetables. It's again low in calories. So something again, certainly to something he could take. And then dinner itself, I believe there are generally three options: something from the store, takeaway, or a homemade meal. Um, Nutrition wise, how do they differ from each other? Do you have an idea? I notice, and I think you guys also notice that, but the first two are most of the time higher in fats, also higher in energy density and also lower in fibers. So not ideal for Arno. A homemade meal is often lower in energy and also higher in fibers. And how you start with it? Again, implement different macronutrients and also implement enough vegetables. Um, about the fats, yeah, we already mentioned you have some healthy fats like oil, like fish, like seeds. Um, so try to use your fats with those products. The proteins, you have different options: meat, fish, meat substitutes, and the carbohydrates, again, a fiber rich source I would prefer. But also the vegetables are very important. They make sure we have enough vitamins and also they can help with the weight control. And then what ratio, and then we mean, yeah, how does your plate should look like? In general, you should aim for half of the plate of vegetables, and then you have 1/4 for carbohydrates and 1/4 for proteins. Um, Here the general guideline is in Belgium is 300 grams of vegetables. That's actually a big amount. So having half of your plate of vegetables is already a very good step. And then sometimes people find it hard to know what they can cook, but actually you have a lot of good sources for recipes. And just keep in mind, yeah, most of the time it should contain those three different macronutrients, enough vegetables and fibers. So you can double check it by yourself, and if it is so, then it's probably a good source of recipes. And here I give some options. Um, yeah, there's probably, I don't know if you can alternate the language of those, but you can have a look. And then some recipes, for example, I found there are those whole wheat wraps, those this curry, and then also the spaghetti al tonno. So all good options, some good examples. And some people find it hard to cook every day. An easy solution is to cook sometimes for multiple dinners and then freeze them. That's an easy option, I believe. And also, it can help to plan your meals. That you take one day a week, for example, take some time during that day to plan your meals. What will you cook when you will go to the store, and stuff like that. And to be fully correct, it's not that all prepared meals or takeaway meals are bad, but we probably agree that it's much more limited. So back to Arno. If you then implement a healthy dinner, for example, the spaghetti al tonno, then his nutrition already looks much better, I believe. And we finished with changing the cola to Cola Zero and then also switch a bit more to the water. So if you can pause again if you want to make the comparison, but we changed from the left to the right, resulting in better timing, less sugars, less fats, and more fibers. So much more healthy nutrition. And then afterwards, um, Arno saw his weight getting stable. He noticed he was less often hungry, and he also started doing sports. So he made some good improvements there. And then, as a recap, I think we can learn from this case study to have three main meals, products high in dietary fibers, healthy snacks. Don't forget to eat enough fruits and vegetables. Implement the different macronutrients. I surely wouldn't recommend to skip one of those three too much or too often. And drink enough water. Also, something to remember. And then basically, it's all comes down to this example. Um, Above you see the nutrition, which is the most important, starting with water, and then next you see in the dark green some nutrition that has enough evidence to prove that it's healthy for our body, and then you have the vegetables, fruits, whole grain products, meat substitutes, oil, um, and then the next part is light green. It's a bit more neutral, but it still has some healthy nutrients like proteins or calcium. So we see there yogurts, fish, chicken, and stuff like that. And then at the bottom, you see some products which evidence suggests that it's less healthy for our body. And then we think of butter, also red meat. And then apart from the triangle, you see some products that are very processed. And we mean with that it has undergo some processes which results in extra salts, fats, sugars, uh, not the best options for our health. Do you need to avoid them totally? No, I would say. Start focusing on the healthy nutrition, and then most of the times, the less healthy nutrition will already be reduced. And then you can sometimes take something of it. Definitely not have to feel guilty about it, but the balance should be okay. And then some examples, low processed against high processed. Again, with the fibers, we talked about that. Also, the muesli at the bottom, some people think it's a healthy one, but it's actually high in fats and sugar, so the left option is probably better. Also, energy-wise, you can see the difference. You have on the left cheese spreads, very low in energy. At the right, it's very high, the chocolate, the Nutella, and it results in around 500 calories for each 100 grams because there are a lot of fats and also sugars in it. Here you also see a big difference, fruits and uh, biscuits. Again, sugars, fats make it very energetic. So also, yeah, try to implement enough fruits, not just for the calories, but just also for the vitamins. But you can see the big difference in energy. So then at the end of our presentation, I want you to reflect on the nutrition you wrote down. Maybe you can use any tips and see if there are some adjustments to make. And then I hope we can now answer these questions. What should I eat? You can check the triangle. And then how should my meal look like? We discussed that with the plates and then also some recipes. But remember, nutrition is very individual. For some people, it might be beneficial to have some individual guidance. You can always contact me for that or make an appointment at Unifit. If you want to find some extra info, you can also check our websites or the socials of me and Unifit. So I hope you learned something. I wish you good luck and you can always contact me. Bye.